Hi golfers, Nick here from American Golf. I'm down at the Thurrock store today, and today I'm comparing the top 6 low to mid handicapper irons. So there's no particular category on these irons. They are all cavity backs, but I would say I would use some of these clubs, but also these will probably fit into anyone up to sort of the 20 to 24 handicap. So it really sort of covers most golfers, but I'm going to call it sort of the cavity low to mid handicapper comparison. So we've got 6 clubs. I've got 6 major brands. So I've got Callaway, Cobra, Mizuno, Ping, Taylormade and Titleist. So they're the 6 available brands that I have here. Obviously there are many other brands available in the market, but these are the 6 that I have at American Golf that I'm going to do a comparison with today. You may have seen my video recently talking about the top 6 low handicapper irons. They're more of a blade type club. These are a bit more of a cavity. So first up today we have the Callaway Apex, which is a great looking club. I'm going to go through all of these clubs. I'm going to give them a grade on appearance, then I'm going to hit them, give them a grade on their feel, their performance and also their price. So at the end there'll be an overall winner for this category. So first up we've got the Callaway Apex, which looks wise I think I prefer this to the Apex Pro, which I looked at last week. It's got a nice sort of slightly duller finish chrome, which I think looks really good. It's slightly offset, but apart from that it's not a bad looking club. So I'm going to give the Callaway Apex 3 points out of 5. Next up we have the Cobra F7, which is a slightly bigger head compared to the other ones I'm comparing today, but this one sort of fitted into the category because I had the forged King Forge, which I compared last week, but this week this one's a bit more of a cavity in it. So looks wise not as good as some of the other clubs that I have today. So 1 point out of 5 for Cobra. So every club's going to be graded from 0 to 5. Every club gets a different grade on appearance, so the best appearance will be 5 and the lowest will be 0. Next up we've got the Ping i200. Again, nice sort of finish, a little bit offset behind the ball, but it's a pretty good looking club, but it's just not as good as some of the others. So 2 points out of 5 for Ping. Next up we have the Mizuno JPX 900 Tour, which is a fantastic looking club. This is the demo version I've got here, but it sits lovely behind the ball. It's got a nice finish to it. It's probably the thinnest top line out of all the clubs that I've got here to try. So I'm going to give this 5 out of 5 for Mizuno. Great looking club. Next up we have the Taylormade M1, which is very similar looks wise to M2. So it's got the face slots, speed slot under the bottom. It looks okay. You've got the back here, which looks probably better than M2. It's not a bad looking club, but it's just not as good as the other ones that I'm comparing today. So 0 points unfortunately for Taylormade. Finally we've got Titleist AP2, which is a great looking club. It sits nicely behind the ball. It was a very close call between this and the Mizuno that I think personally is the best looking, but I've gone for the Mizuno's as the best appearance with 5 points. So Titleist is going to get 4 points out of 5. So I've taken a look there at the appearance of the clubs. So next up it's a case of hitting them and then giving some feedback afterwards.
There are these things at the back of my mind, words unsaid that I try to hide from love. I know there are these things at the back of my mind, things we left that I try to find my love. I know, would you go back, would you go back? Tell me, do you think about it late at night? Would you go back, would you go back? Tell me, do you see we're in that light? I'm chasing pictures and I'm gonna keep smiling. I'm running places that we only ever know in the dark. I wanna try and sum it up, but I don't know where to start. I have to give it to you, baby, I'm creating the art. Would you go back, would you go back? Would you go back, would you go back? Would you go back, would you go back? the back of my mind. Words are said that I try to hide from love. I know there are these things at the back of my mind. Things we left that I try to find my love. I know, would you go back, would you go back? Tell me, do you think about it late at night? Would you go back, would you go back? Tell me, do you see when we're in that light? I'm chasing pictures and I'm gonna keep smiling. I'm running places that we only ever know in the dark. I wanna try and sum it up, but I don't know where to start. I have to give it to you, baby, you've created the art. Chasing pictures and I'm gonna keep smiling. I'm running places that we only ever know in the dark. I wanna try and sum it up, but I don't know where to start. I have to give it to you, baby, you've created the art.
So you've seen me hit 10 shots there on GC2. I'm going to grade them on how they felt to me, and I'm trying to grade them on like the ones that I hit well. So I didn't hit every shot great, but the ones that I hit well, how do they feel to me? And I think that's really important when I'm choosing a set of clubs. They've got to feel right, because I'm going to be using these clubs, and if they don't feel right, then I'm not going to be confident standing over the golf ball. So I think the feel is really important when you look at a set of clubs. So I always go for sort of the softer feel, and it feels better to me. It feels like I've got more control over it. So first up I tried the Callaway, and it was about average, I'd say, compared to the clubs that I tried. So 2 points out of 5 for the Callaway Apex. The Cobra F7, I did say at the beginning, the head's a little bit bigger than the rest, so not surprisingly it didn't feel as good as the rest, so 0 points out of 5 for Cobra. Next up was the Mizuno, which feels great. It just wasn't quite as good as the Ping or the Titleist, so 3 points out of 5 for the Mizuno. Next up was the Ping i200, which felt really good. It was pretty much a close call between that and the Titleist, but I'm going to give 4 points out of 5 to Ping. Next up was the Taylormade M1, which did feel better than them two, but not quite as good as the P770. So for Taylormade, 1 point out of 5 for the M1. And then finally, the Titleist AP2, it felt the best to me personally. I did hit it pretty well, but it did feel pretty good as well. So Titleist AP2, 5 points out of 5. So moving on to the performance, I think that's really the key category. So for this category, I'm going to double the points. So the best performing club will get 10 points, and so on down to 0. So first up I tried the Callaway, and I've judged this on the dispersion of the balls. So on the GC2 here, it gives you like a circle. The smallest circle is going to get the most points, biggest circle is going to get the least points. So Callaway Apex got 2 points out of 10. The worst performer was actually the Cobra F7, 0 points out of 10. The Mizuno JPX wasn't bad, but just wasn't quite as good as some of the other clubs. The Mizuno was a 6-iron, so I did sort of bear that in mind looking when I was hitting those clubs, but 4 points out of 10 for the Mizuno. Next up was the Ping, pretty good dispersion, not quite as good as the Taylormade and Titleist though, 6 points out of 10 for Ping. The second best performing club was actually the Taylormade M1, although it probably doesn't have the best looks in my opinion, or maybe not quite the best feel compared to the other clubs. Performance was really good, as was P770, great performing club M1, 8 points out of 10, and the best performing club for me was actually the Titleist AP2, 10 points out of 10. The dispersion was really close to your net, you saw on the screen I hit those shots. A really good performance there from the Titleist AP2. The final category is the price. I've done this before. The highest costing set, and this is for 7 irons, so roughly 4 to pitching wedge in steel, and that's, you can get those custom fitted through American Golf for no extra charge. So I'm going to go through the price. The most expensive was actually the Callaway Apex at $779.99. The cheapest set was actually the Cobra F7, so that gets 5 points out of 5, that's actually $549. Then we had 3 sets of clubs which were all the same amount. So we had the Mizuno JPX, the Taylormade M1 and the Titleist AP2. They were all $749.99. And the second cheapest set was the Ping i200s at $699.99, so that gets 4 points out of 5. So there's all my 4 categories. I've added the points up to give an overall total. So the total, the club with the most points will be the best performing, in my opinion. So in 6th place with 6 points out of 25 was the Cobra F7. I wasn't totally surprised by this. It probably wasn't as close or as sort of thin top line as sort of the other clubs. It's a bit more offset, it's slightly more of an undercut, so to me that didn't quite feel as good, it didn't quite perform as good as some of the other clubs. So fortunately the Cobra F7, 6 points out of 25. The next performing club was actually the Callaway Apex, so that gets 7 points out of 25 in 5th place. In 4th place was the Taylormade M1 with 11 points out of 25. In 3rd place with 14 points out of 25 was the Mizuno JPX 900, and then it was left to the Ping i200 and the Titleist AP2. And with 16 points out of 25 it was actually the Ping i200, and then way out in front with 21 points out of 25 was the Titleist AP2, which performed the best for me. I tried to be unbiased in this review because I use Titleist AP2s, but they just perform better. The stats don't lie. The way I hit it, it felt good. So for me, in this category, Titleist AP2 is the best performing club that I tried today. So golfers out there, if you've got any comments, please post them in the box below. If there's any other clubs you want me to try, obviously I'm limited to the stock that we have here, but if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're willing to try any of these clubs, pop down to American Golf and we'll be happy to help you out.